Hello. This video is probably going to seem a little bit random, and I'm obviously on the floor. It's something that I needed to do anyway, so I figured why not make a video about it, just in case any of you guys may find this helpful or useful in any way. So today, I am going to be attempting to fix my Converse shoe. I wear sneakers pretty much exclusively. They're the only footwear I wear, pretty much. I love Converse sneakers so much, especially the lower ones, the Chucks, simply just because they're easier to get on than the high tops are, because I wear these to work every day. The point is, I love sneakers, but the problem that I've been having lately is when you're wearing the sneaker and you're walking in it, it flexes like this, and I've been having a big problem with the this rubber on the side separating from the canvas. And I don't know if that's just like, if the adhesive they're using to stick the canvas to the rubber side of the shoe, it just isn't as strong as it used to be, if the shoes just aren't being made quite as well, or if it's my feet are super wide thing. This definitely isn't. I usually do get, I'll show you on this one, I usually do get a little bit of, I don't know if you can see it there. No, you can't because you're in shadow. Awesome. I'll bring you closer so you can see. So here's my dirty shoe. The problem that I usually have is when I'm walking and the shoe is constantly bending right here, the rubber on the side here separates from the canvas. It lets go a little bit, so you'll have that's happening on the side right there. I'll get a little bit of that, but typically I will have worn through the shoe and need to buy a new pair before this separation on the sides here gets so bad that, you know, it affects the wearability of the shoe. This one, I noticed the other day, has completely separated. Holy crap, right? I know. So from where it flexes up at the front here, all the way to the back, all the way to the sole, it's just completely come away, all the way. So I agonized over how to fix this, and I think I figured out a way to do it. So I searched and searched and searched the internet trying to find a way to fix this, and a lot of the remedies that are shared online are for how to stick the sole back on. This is coming off too, that's annoying, but if the sole starts to like come away, how to stick that back down. The difference is, on this back part of the shoe, your foot isn't flexing as much. The part of your foot that moves the most is up here at the ball of your foot and the toes. That's where your foot bends to move you to take a step. So when you take a step, you go like that. None of this part of the shoe is really moving so much. It's all happening up here. So if you're using some sort of glue, like crazy glue adhesive back here, you're gonna have a lot easier time keeping the shoe together than you will up here. This part isn't constantly flexing. All the motion in the shoe, all the movement in the shoe, or the majority of it, is happening up here. So I've tried a few things in the past. I can probably switch you around now. Sorry that the lighting's not super good, but the best place I could think of to do this was just sitting on the floor. So we're not really getting a lot of light right now. I do apologize. I've tried a few times to fix similar things to this in the past, like this other shoe. That isn't so bad, it's just got like a little bit of separation right here. I've tried to fix things like this by using other adhesives. I think I've tried crazy glue, the E6000 adhesive. I tried epoxy resin,
And I even tried shoe goo, which is absolutely great. Shoe goo is specifically made for shoe repair. The problem is there isn't enough flexibility in the adhesive itself. That's the problem I'm having, because all of my shoes are having issues up here at the ball of the foot on each side here. So any of the adhesives that I've used and tried in the past haven't really worked so well because the adhesive dries too hard, and then what happens when your shoe starts to move, it cracks. The adhesive cracks almost immediately within a few days, right here on each side, and then you're back where you started. So I started thinking about what kind of product the factory that manufactures these shoes, what kind of adhesive or product that they would use so that you maintain flexibility but the two still stay stuck together. And the only thing that I could think of was silicone. So that's what we're doing today. I have tried it on this side of the shoe. I tested it out once. That was about a week ago. And it's been holding up pretty well, actually.
Right here, I missed a little spot up here, so there's still a bit of a hole, but all down here, I have already siliconed with clear silicone. The whole point of this is that silicone has movement, it has some flexibility to it. It doesn't dry hard. So my theory is that the silicone will stick the rubber to the canvas, but still allow for some flexibility right here up at the ball of the foot while you're wearing the shoe. So I'm gonna try and fix this whole mess here, and I'm just basically going to be walking you guys through it step by step, and myself. This is only my second time trying this, so the first step always is you want to clean the area. And obviously, because these are shoes, they're gonna have like dust and dirt and all sorts of fun stuff that I've been walking through on them. They're just gonna have residue all over them. And you also want to make sure you get as much of the the old adhesive off as well, because certain types of glue or adhesive may have trouble sticking together. You know, your glue just won't stick quite as well if you don't pre-clean your surface. So that's what we're doing. If I had more time, if these weren't the only pair of sneakers that I have to wear to work, I would run them under water, get them completely soaked, wash them really well, use a brush to really get in there, get the surface as clean as absolutely possible, and then wait like a full week to let the shoe really dry 100% before going in with my silicone. I don't have that kind of time. So we are going to try taking a shortcut. Now, I don't know how well this is going to work, but I have a little tiny piece of sandpaper here. Boom, ba-doom. Little tiny piece of sandpaper that I borrowed from my dad. First thing I'm going to do is just lightly sand the area, lightly sand the surface of the rubber in here, and I'm going to very lightly sand the canvas as well, just where I can see the old adhesive. So I'm going to try and just soften some of that up and remove a little bit of it just so that I have a cleaner surface to work with. I didn't do that with the other side because that was just a total experiment. I just went in with the silicone. But the proper way is to clean and prep your surface first. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm just going to lightly give that a little bit of a zhuzh. I'm not going to sand it too much because, like, I might wear holes in something and that's counterproductive to what I want. Just going to kind of blow any dust out that I created with the sandpaper. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, I am going to clean the area as best I can, woo, with a piece of Costco's Finest paper towel. and just some rubbing alcohol. So I'm just going to put a little bit of that on. And the reason I chose to use rubbing alcohol is because it can, like, it's wet for a very short amount of time and then dries extremely quickly. So I'm just going to put that in there, pat it in the crevice, kind of squish it around so that a lot of the dirt or residue that's still lingering will hopefully stick to the paper towel that's been soaked with the rubbing alcohol. Now we're going to get to gluing. It's really not that hard. So what I'm using is the Red Devil, using the Red Devil Stormguard 920 100% RTV silicone. Now there are several types of silicone or caulking depending on what you're using the silicone product for. Like, silicone isn't made for shoe repair, it's not specifically formulated for it, but this is the only thing that I've found that seems to work kind of okay. And I specifically got this one because it's 100% waterproof, and it says on here, superior adhesion and flexibility for wet or dry surfaces and won't shrink or crack. And on the bottom here, if you'll focus, it says construction sealant right there. There you go. Anywho, this one is specifically used for like stormproofing windows and door frames. So I figured this was a pretty good option. If you're kind of at your wit's end with your shoes, if you want to make your shoes last a little longer and you want to try this out, I would suggest doing a couple quick Google searches. Just look up what different kinds of silicone there are out there and which one you think will work best for you. Yeah, I would just say know what kind of silicone you're looking for. That makes it a lot easier to shop around. I found this one on Amazon. There was no particular reason why I picked this brand. It was just one of the cheapest ones that came in sort of like a smaller bottle. I just needed a teeny tiny one for working on shoe repair. General rule of thumb is sacrifice a little bit of your silicone before each use just to be safe, and just squirt a little bit of it out onto a paper towel, which is what I'm going to do right now. So I'm just going to squeeze a little bit of it out. Maybe. It won't. So what has happened is, so it has obviously dried in the end there, which is why I guess they put oil inside the little applicator tip here. So I'm gonna try and dig out the dried silicone, and I'll be right back. Dang it. Okay, so I got out the hardened blob of silicone. It sure took a minute, but finally got it out, and now the silicone is flowing. So now I can show you what I was going to do before. You take your silicone and you always squeeze out a little bit. About that much onto the paper towel, just so that I'm sure I'm working with good product. Doesn't hurt, it doesn't waste that much product. So what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna fill this full of silicone, and then I'm gonna put one hand in here, keep one hand outside, and kind of just put light pressure on this area so that they don't kind of like slowly just separate. And I'm gonna wait about half an hour. That's about how long the instructions on this say it takes for this product to begin to set. So I'm going to start siliconing. Okay. Before I finish, I'm going to bring you a little closer just so that you can get a better look at what I'm doing here. So you can see I've got some silicone in there already. Now, silicone is pretty darn thick, so it does take a little bit of work to get it out of the tube. I think that's enough. So I'm gonna stick one hand in here for stability, and I got my other hand here, and I'm just gonna slowly start pressing the two sides together, because that's not only sticking the two sides together, it's also spreading the product. Another thing that's happening while we're doing this is all of the extra, you can see all the extra silicone here. I'm gonna show you what we do with that later in a sec. So now that I've kind of got everything stuck the way I want it, I'm just gonna take my finger and smooth all of this out, like so. Whoop. Okay, so I've kind of, are you gonna focus? There we go. So I've kind of got the silicone to where I wanted. I've smoothed my finger over it, as you saw, smoothing all of that extra, all the silicone that was being squeezed out the top here. Smoothing that over kind of creates a seal over the top. Now it's just a waiting game. And now, the annoying part is I have to hold the two sides together for 30 minutes. Now this, if you're gluing something else or if you're siliconing something else, that's awesome. If you can find some way to sort of clamp the two sides together. I have not yet figured out the best way to do that for a shoe. So I'm gonna have to sit here and hold it until they have adhered enough to each other that I can let go without them sort of, you know, coming apart again. So I'm going to just sit here and hold my shoe together for the next 30 minutes. Should be fun. So I've kind of just been sitting here holding the shoe like this for well over half an hour now, actually. It looks like it's started to set pretty well. Okay. I had to move up here so that there was a little more light. My camera was having a bit of a difficulty down there. Basically, when it gets to this stage, you need to be really careful, because if you move either this part or the canvas at this stage, you'll get cracking, like you see is happening right here, right there. And that's going to create a weak spot. Like, it'll just make it really easy for the silicone to separate right here. So I'm going to have to fix that before the silicone completely dries. Yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there, that be really careful if you want to try this. The stuff that I'm using here takes at least 24 hours. 48 hours is better, but it takes at least 24 hours to cure fully. So try not to touch it, or cracking happens like that. Anyway, I'm going to just touch up that one little section, and then I'm going to put my shoes somewhere where they won't be touched for the next 24 hours or so, and we'll see how they're looking tomorrow. Good dog. So it worked. That's good. Alrighty. It's been about 5 days since I actually applied the silicone. I ended up letting it sit for like a good 48 hours. And I've actually been wearing the shoes for the last 3 days or so. It seems to be holding up really well, actually. Like, there are no cracks or anything in the silicone yet. This has already lasted longer than like any other glue I've ever tried on a Converse sneaker in this area here. So here's just a quick kind of close-up, I guess, of the finished product. I put a fair bit of silicone on there, so it's didn't dry completely clear. A little bit of dust is sticking to it just because, like, the silicone attracts dust and I've been wearing them, so sorry about that. Anyway, when the shoe flexes like this, like when I'm walking, the silicone moves with the shoe, or at least it has been so far. Yeah, there it is. There's just a quick close-up of the finished product, I guess. So it seemed to work. The real question now is, how long will it last? That remains to be seen, but for now, I'm just happy that this was a success, because I don't expect it to last forever. I just wanted to make the shoe last a little longer and keep it from completely falling apart. That's it, I guess. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please consider giving this video a big ol' thumbs up, subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one. It's faster to get my foot in there and tie them up than it... Whoa. So, I did kind of... Ooh, scandalous. We don't want to see too much ankle. For I want the adhesive, I want the sticker togetherer. Ooh. Also, that's a thing. Just found that out, so... Did you guys know that this thing just pops right out? Is that supposed to happen? Because I don't think that's supposed to happen. Well, that sucks. Okay. We'll just pretend that didn't happen. Oh no. If these weren't the only pair of good sneakers, well, we'll put good in quotes because they're apparently falling apart. Maybe, perhaps. No? Come on. Don't focus on my face. Focus on this. Right here. Hello? Right there. Right there. Hello? Right there. Are looking to... Like in this little dispenser part, the little part where it, the hole. Hey. There's silicone everywhere.